and welcome. My name's Nicole, and I'll be leading you today through your Get Hip Hatha-Yin hybrid yoga class. Today we would like to have 2 blocks if we have them. If you don't have blocks, you could use books. So you could have some hard-covered books, try to make them about the size of this block, and you can have them available. We may also use folded blanket, or if you have a pillow, like a firm pillow, and you might like to have a strap of some kind. We'll begin by coming down onto the back. So from wherever you are, you can find your way mindfully to lie on the back. If there's lower back issues, please have your feet on the floor and your knees up, and slowly help the body down with the hands and forearms. If there are no lower back issues for you, you could take the palms facing up and slowly roll it down. Once you're down on the back, you can decide if you'd like to have a pillow or the blanket behind the back of the head. We just want to make sure that the chin isn't jutting up towards the ceiling or too far down towards the chest. We want length in the back of the neck. Keeping the feet on the floor and the knees up, we'll gently let the knees drop together, pointing the big toes in towards one another. Resting the hands to the lower abdominal area. Closing the eyes if it's comfortable for you, and just begin to notice the natural breath. We can take a few cleansing breaths together, breathing in through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Breathing in this moment, sighing it out, letting go of past, letting go of future. Now allowing the breath to just come in and out through the nose, because it's calming to the nervous system. We purify the air more when we breathe through the nose than when we breathe through the mouth. When we breathe through the nose, we move in to our parasympathetic nervous system. As you lie on the back, you'll naturally move into your 3-part yogic breath, Dirghaswasana. As you inhale, resting the right hand to the middle of the belly, you'll notice the expansion through the belly as you inhale, and the contraction as you exhale. Feeling the expansion as you inhale, and the contraction as you exhale. Placing the left hand at the chest area. On the next breath in, feel the expansion through the belly and then the chest and rib cage. As you exhale, feel the contraction from top to bottom. Feeling expansion through the belly first, then the chest and rib cage on the inhale. As you exhale, feeling the contraction. Relaxing the hands or arms out to the sides of the body a bit, palms facing up or towards the body. Coming into that full 3-part breath. As you inhale, feel the expansion through the belly, through the chest and the rib cage, and invite that breath all the way up to the base of the throat. As you exhale, feel the natural release from top to bottom. Using that full capacity of space in the body as you inhale, feeling the expansion from the belly, through the chest and the rib cage, breath coming all the way up to the base of the throat, exhaling that natural release from top to bottom. This is our foundational breath that we'll use throughout our practice unless instructed otherwise. remembering during our practice to never strain, to honor that edge where you feel sensation or intensity, but to never go over that edge into pain or dis-ease. There's been a lot going on for many of us in the world, for all of us in some way, shape, or form. So honoring any emotions that you might notice during your practice today, just letting them float by like clouds in the sky, letting your awareness be like that expansive sky, and just letting any thoughts that come up during practice just drift by, bringing your attention back to the breath, the full inhale, the full exhale. You might notice a space or pause between the inhale and exhale and inhale. We can invite that space consciousness, that deep healing space into this moment, sinking into the space, feeling the earth supporting us in this posture. Honoring any sounds the body needs to release today, if you need to cough or sneeze or clear the throat. Honoring any sounds that may be in or inside of the room that you're practicing in. Just let those sounds drift by, bringing your focus, your attention back onto your mat. Letting go of ego, competition, or comparison about your practice. Honoring ourselves in this moment, exactly where we are in this moment. Letting those hands just rest to the lower abdominal area as you allow the soles of the feet to come together and the knees to gently drop out to the sides. If you feel any dis-ease here, you might like to put the blocks or the cushions or blankets underneath the knees to give yourself some support. Or you may like the natural stretch that's happening here as the weight of the knees and the legs helps to open a little more through the hips, through the insides and outsides of the legs. Feeling a sense of openness here as you choose your intention or sankalpa for your practice today. We want to word that intention in a positive way, stating it as though it's happening in the present tense. It may be something like, peace is my birthright, I choose peace in each moment. Or, I am open to healing and abundance. Or, I am healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Choosing one for yourself now, or one that was given, and repeating it to yourself internally 3 times, knowing that it's already manifesting. Mindfully allowing those knees to come up, letting the feet and the knees come just a little bit wider than the hips, sliding the arms out to a soft T position. Palms can face up or down, letting those knees drop over to the right side as you turn the head to the left side on the exhale. Inhale as you draw back to center with the knees and the head. As you exhale, let the knees drop to the other side, turning the head opposite the knees. And just flowing side to side, matching breath with movement, inhaling to center, exhaling side to side. There's nothing to add or achieve in this moment. There's nothing to fix or change, just this moment just this movement, just this breath. Opening up here through the hips, warming up through the neck. Maybe there's been a lot going on lately that's been a pain in the neck. Just giving permission to release that to the earth. And of course, I'm sure we've been sitting a lot more than normal. We may be feeling it in the hips. We can store a lot of our emotions in the hips. So just giving permission to release whatever's ready to release, honoring what needs to stay. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the side, finishing on the opposite side we began, drawing it back to center, inviting the knees in towards the chest for a gentle hug. We might rock a little bit side to side. Holding the knees with the hands with the fingertips pointing down towards the toes. We can draw some circles with the knees going away from one another. We might hear some pops or sounds through the hips. Staying connected with breath. Feel as though you're just moving through molasses, enjoying the sweetness of life, letting go of any preoccupation with past and any concerns about future. The next time the knees are far apart, turn direction, drawing them in towards one another. And then letting the knees come together, hugging them gently into the chest, extending the legs up towards the ceiling, extending the arms up towards the ceiling, just rolling the wrists and the ankles. Again, you might hear some sounds here, inviting that space in through these areas. As you come back through center, you could flex the feet as you take the hands back, point the toes as you bring the hands forward. Matching breath with movement at a pace that's natural for you. If you feel the breath pace that I'm cueing is ever too long or too short for you, always honor yourself in this moment, whatever pace is right for you with the breath. And then as you come back through center, gently bend the knees, taking them into the chest. Here we can roll onto the side body, use the top hand to bring ourselves up to a seated position. As we come up to seated, we can find the blanket or the cushion sitting on the edge or the corner of the blanket or pillow. You might like legs crossed, you might like one leg out or both legs out. Just choose what feels best for you in this moment. Make sure things are equal through the sits bones. Palms can face down on the knees as you sit tall. Relax the shoulders up, back, and down. Lower the chin to the chest on the exhale. On the inhale, rock the left ear to the left shoulder. On the exhale, invite chin back to chest. On the inhale, rock right ear to right shoulder. And just explore side to side. Just giving one more release for this area of the body where we tend to hold a lot of tension. This is also our communication center. As you come back through center, bringing the chin parallel to the floor, taking those shoulders up to the ears on the inhale. Exhale, sigh it out and drop it down. Inhale up. Exhale, sigh it out. And once more, inhale and let it go. Palms facing up. As you sweep those arms out and up, palms kiss at the top, gazing up at the hands. Exhale, follow the hands to the heart space. Big circle with the arms on the inhale, palms kiss at the top. Exhale, follow the hands to the heart space. Once more through, feeling that sense of openness, bringing hands to heart as you exhale, taking a moment to reconnect with intention, repeating it to yourself once more internally. Lifting it up to anyone else that might need it. Exhale, sending it out. Coming off the blanket, just placing it off to the side or the cushion so that you can extend the legs out, giving the legs a shake. Taking the feet side to side. Bending the right knee so that you can hold that right foot in the left hand, holding the leg here, or if it's comfortable and available, take the foot into the crook of the arm and hold the leg here. Another lovely stretch for that area in the hips, gently rocking the cradle here as you connect with breath, sitting up tall. You can keep that long leg strong, keeping the foot flexed. Breathing fully. Feel like you're just holding that little one in your arms, giving that unconditional love to any sensations you might notice. Maybe it's a cranky baby. Slowing it down as you release, extending that leg out, taking it to the other side. Here we can hold the foot and the leg, or we can tuck the foot into the crook of the arm, coming around the leg as we sit tall, rocking the cradle on the other side. Full inhales, full exhales. Maybe there's more or less sensation on this side. Slowing the movement, extending that leg out, shaking it out. Walking those hips back so everything's equal through the sits bones. We'd like to make sure we have our blocks or blankets or cushions on either side here. Bending one knee and then the other knee, letting the soles of the feet come together once more, and then just using the blocks for underneath the knees, wherever we feel some sensation, but not any pain. So we may have them here, we may have them a little bit lower, we may have them a little bit higher. So it just depends on the person. Finding that place, because we'll stay in this position a little bit longer. This is our bound angle, Baddha Konasana. As you inhale, sit tall and lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, just hinge from the hips. You might clasp the hands around the feet or just hold at the shins or ankles, taking the gaze down and slightly forward as you connect with breath. Asking yourself, what have you been holding on to lately that you're ready to release? Maybe you've been holding on to some fear, worries, or concerns. Maybe you've been holding on to some frustrations or irritations. With each breath, just see if you can let go a little bit more of whatever is no longer serving you. You might notice the place where you feel sensation, that edge begins to move. Maybe you inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, you fold a little more further. Maybe you like to remove the blocks and take a few breaths without the blankets or blocks or props, encouraging the knees towards the earth as you connect with breath. Maybe the edge moves in a way that you back out of the posture a little bit and bring the blocks up a little higher. There may be a little bit too much sensation. As you inhale, slowly and mindfully come up. Gently let those knees come up. You can remove the props, taking them back out. Lean back on the hands, take the knees and feet a little wider, and just drop the knees side to side. Exhaling to the side, inhaling to center, exhaling to the side. Knees and feet are a little bit wider than the hips. No rush, nothing to add or achieve. Really sending love through the hips, through the low back. Finishing on that opposite side as you bring it to center, crossing the legs and walking the hands forward, bringing it into table. Having the knees under the hips, hip distance apart, hands just slightly above shoulders, shoulder distance apart, spread the fingers wide. You could have the toes curled under or the tops of the feet resting to the earth. The gaze is down. Lift the tail as you gaze up, relax the shoulders back, coming into cow, and then let the movement originate from the tail as you exhale, taking a stretch like that cat. Letting the crown move towards the earth. Inhale, lift the tail, feel the belly drop down, take the gaze up. Exhale, back through cat. Take it another round, inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. As you bring it to neutral, walk the hands a little higher, take the knees a little wider, draw circles for those hips, back over, up and around. You might hear pops or sounds, connecting with breath. When you feel guided to turn direction, turn direction. And bring it back through center. Here we can locate the blocks or the books, placing them up towards the top of the mat. So if you have those there, you could rest your hands to those. Stepping that right foot up. I like to take the blocks a little higher here because the torso for my body is long and the arms are short, so the blocks are helpful for me. You might like a blanket underneath that back knee. You can encourage that back knee a little further back behind you. Here we'll use the blocks to take the hips back, and then we'll invite the hips forward. So again, continuing to really warm and open up through the hips, coming forward and back. And for some of you, you may not like the blocks. You might like resting the hands right on the earth if that's better for proportion in the body. The next time you come back almost into a runner stretch here, you could flex the foot, inhale, lengthen, exhale, just hinge a little bit into sensation, being with it, breathing with it. And let those hips come up as you walk your blocks up Bring both blocks to the inside of the leg, resting the hands here, walking the foot a little bit out to the edge of the mat. You can sink down a little bit here into the hip girdle. Some of you may like to bring it down to elbows and forearms. If you don't feel any sensation here, you can remove one of your blocks or books. If you don't feel sensation here, you can take it right down to the earth. So just choose whatever position you resonate with. We're all receiving the same benefits regardless of where we are in the posture. You might sigh it out. Maybe there's been some irritation towards whoever you're quarantined with. You can exhale that out. Maybe you've been storing that up in the hips. Inviting it back up to hands. Encouraging the foot back to center. Once more, shifting those hips back and forward. Flowing with breath. The next time we come forward, hands to the earth or the blocks, the front knee comes back. Let's take the hands right to the earth, hands a little higher than the shoulders, knees a little wider than the hips. Draw your circles, start small, and then explore that space. You might hear those pops or sounds. And when you're ready to turn direction, turn direction. Listen to that little voice that whispers, you don't need to order anything else from Amazon. Bring it back through center, inviting hands to blocks, knees under hips, stepping the other foot up now, taking those blocks to the right height for this body, shifting the hips back and forward. Making sure that you put that blanket underneath the back knee if you'd like a little more cushion. I have a double mat configuration, so I have a little more cushion under the knee. If I only had one mat on this floor, I would like the blanket. The next time you come back with the hips, flexing the foot into that runner stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, just a slight hinge, just into where you feel sensation here. A few breaths. Anytime you'd like to add ujjayi or ocean breath, just gently constrict the back muscles of the throat, the muscles you use when you whisper or fog up a mirror. This can help you if you feel challenged physically, mentally, or emotionally. Slowly walking those blocks forward, bringing them inside the leg, walking the foot to the outside of the mat, sinking down. You might encourage the back knee a little further back. Here again, you might bring it down to elbows and forearms, or just keep it up with the arms tall. You might like to come down to one block, or come down to the earth. You might sigh it out, taking it to wherever it feels right for you. For a few more breaths. As you mindfully find your way up from wherever you are, bringing the foot back to center, releasing here as you shift those hips back and forward, back and forward. As you come forward, hands resting on blocks, inviting that front knee back, inviting hands to the earth, a little higher than the shoulders, knees a little wider than the hips, flowing into your circles, starting small and just exploring space. Both directions. As you come back through center, you might like the height under the hands, stepping right foot forward, taking a little higher, curling the back toes, stepping back foot forward into your forward bend. Here, you might let the blocks rest out to the sides, have a generous bend in the knees. Let the head hang like a ripe piece of fruit. You might let hands rest to opposite elbow. Release elbows, arms out at T. Inhale, come on up. Let the palms kiss at the top. Gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. And release. Finding your way to the top of the mat. Checking that the feet are not wider than the hips. Feel the feet sinking into the earth. Feel that strength coming up through the legs. Relax the shoulders up, back, and down. Feel the energy come down the arms, palms facing forward or towards the body, crown reaching to the sky, welcoming yourself into Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathing fully. Really feel as though you could pull the feet away from one another here as you stay in your mountain. Floating those arms up, palms facing each other, bending the knees as you sink into your chair. Make sure the knees don't overextend past the toes. Take the palms down and float the arms back behind you. Breathing. On an inhale, just like that phoenix from the ashes, we all feel like we've been put in the fire right now. Let's inhale and rise up. The obstacles are the path. Palms kiss at the top, gentle back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Release hands to hips. Heel toe the feet a little bit wider. So here you'd like to be a little bit wider than the hips. Feel like you're cutting an edge with the outside of the feet. Legs are strong. Lengthen through the lower back. Bringing hands to heart. And then out to a T position, palms facing down. Lengthen through the fingertips. Feel your heart shine. Visualize yourself like a star, shining in that dark night sky, being the light to guide the way. Turn the toes slightly out, bend the knees, And bend the elbows. Continuing to breathe in your goddess pose. Imagining you're holding a ball of energy, flowing it over to that left side, and then switching it over to the right side, opening up the side body, getting that lateral stretch as you flow side to side, continuing to open through the hips, breathing. Feel like you're cultivating that energy. It's growing stronger. Finishing over on that right side. As you bring it to center, holding that ball of energy, bringing it right into the heart space. Taking a few breaths. You might notice some shaking in the legs. Straightening the legs on the inhale, turning the toes forward, heel toe the feet a little closer, still keeping them about as wide as the mat. Bending the knees as you sit back, reach the arms forward, coming into bear. Growling's optional. Maybe we feel like a bear in hibernation. We can bring hands to heart, sinking it down a little deeper, coming into a low, low squat. You might be on the tippy toes. You might put the blocks behind the heels. We can bring hands forward so that we can walk the feet a little closer. Walking hands back for our forward bend. As you release the hands, stepping back with one foot and then the other, bringing the hips up towards the ceiling, the heels towards the earth, creating that inverted V shape with the body. And bend the knees to the floor. As you lower yourself into a seated position, you may like to have your blocks close to you, bending the knees, helping it down if there's lower back issues, rolling it down if there's not. Giving yourself a well-deserved hug, knees into chest, little rock side to side. And as the feet come to the earth, invite those heels close to the body. Point the big toes into one another. Make sure there's length in the back of the neck. Arms are close to the sides of the body, palms facing down. Press through the feet and lift those hips up towards the ceiling. You could keep it here, or if you'd like to take the block and place it underneath the lower back, going across. You might come up on the tippy toes and add the second block. Having those underneath and then lowering the heels. Keeping it here for supported bridge, feeling constriction in the throat. Balancing thyroid in either direction is a benefit reported by those that practice bridge. Again, if you're not using the blocks and it's available, you might bring one shoulder under and then the other and clasp the hands underneath the body. Making sure the knees aren't bowing out to the sides. Keeping the head stationary. When you're ready to release, you can release the hands, soften the shoulders, remove the blocks, and slowly lower it down. Taking the arms out to soft T, taking the knees and feet wider than the hips, dropping the knees as you exhale over to the right with the knees, head turns to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees to the other side, head turns opposite direction. Really getting hip today. Finishing on the opposite side as you come through center. Hugging those knees in. Dropping the knees over to the side. Rolling it up to seated. Here we could have 1 or 2 blankets available along with our strap. I like to have 1 blanket to sit on the corner of, as we demonstrated earlier. Extending the legs long, taking the other blanket and just making a skinny tube to place under the knees. Flexing the feet. If you're using the strap, it's waiting for you around the bottoms of the feet. Coming into staff pose. Imagine the palms pressing into the earth, feeling the crown reaching to the sky. Our forward bend, Paschimottanasana, balances the back bend, calming the nervous system, helping with digestion, and helping with insomnia. Using the blankets, help to support and relieve the hamstrings, the lower back, and for people who might have discomfort through the hips. As you inhale, reach up and lengthen through the fingertips, and as you exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward. Here you might take the strap around the balls of the feet. This is the safest place and it keeps the feet in flexion. As you inhale, lengthen and pull the strap towards you, draw the shoulders back, and as you exhale, hinge. You're gazing to the toes, breathing. You might even start to feel like you're sliding off the blanket you're sitting on a little bit. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, hinge. After those few breaths, you might like to release the strap, latch the big toes with the peace fingers, or frame the legs. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, hinge. You can let the gaze fall to the knees, closing the eyes if it's comfortable for you. Just going to where you feel sensation, never pushing into pain. You inhale and lengthen, you exhale and hinge. Engage through the legs, really anchor down. As you inhale, reach the feet, reach the hands beyond the feet, rise up. Exhale, release the arms. Release the strap, back off to the side. Remove the blankets. You may like to have the blankets close by to use in a few moments. Taking, again, the feet and knees a little wider, dropping the knees over to that left side. Inhale to center, exhale to the right side. The next time those knees drop over to that right side, let the legs be L-shape or stack with a little blanket in between the knees. Inhale, sit tall and lengthen. And as you exhale, take that left hand to the right knee as you gaze behind the back shoulder. You could keep your twist here or walk your hands further behind you and lower it down. Full inhales, full exhales. Pull the belly button towards the spine on the exhale. Slowly, if you've lowered it down, rise up on an inhale. And as you exhale, come forward, straighten out the hips. Drop the knees to the other side, creating the L shape or stacking. Inhale, sit tall and lengthen. Exhale, take that right hand to the left knee, other hand behind you. It might feel nice to keep this twist tall. You might like to walk the hands behind or lower it down. Choose what feels best for you. Our spinal twists, considered our smart pose, because they bring us to balance, calming or energizing, cooling or warming. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. If you lowered it down, come back up on the inhale. Exhale, bring it forward, straighten out the hips. And one final time, just like those windshield wipers in the car, side to side, washing away all that you've released throughout your practice today. As you come back through center, finding your blanket, placing that right foot and leg just across, and then stacking the other ankle over knee, coming into square or box pose. So this may feel pretty intense for most of us. This knee might be up a little higher. We can take the blanket, fill in the gap here. This in itself might feel very intense. If you don't feel any sensation, inhale, resting hands, exhale, hinge forward. You could rest elbows here or take hands forward. Breathing here. You might sigh it out. You might not fold forward, you might just keep it up tall. Slowly, as you soften, release it back. Your top leg will become the bottom leg. Your bottom leg becomes the top. Again, here, this knee might be coming up a little bit. You might use that blanket just to fill in that gap. Keeping it here. Or you might like to take it here, or you might like to take it here, or you might even be folding more forward. Just to where you feel sensation, never pushing into pain. You might sigh it out. Slowly release as you come up tall. Taking those legs out slowly, shaking them out. Having the blanket near you to cover yourself with if you choose. Having a pillow behind you if you like to rest the head on. Slowly lowering it down. So again, here, if you like the pillow behind the head or the blanket over the body, in corpse pose, Shavasana, the legs are a little bit wider, the feet fall out. The arms are a little further out from the sides of the body. You could turn the head gently side to side. As you come through center, taking any movements that feel right for you to come into that place of stillness to absorb the benefits of your practice. Sighing it out a few times. Letting the breath be natural. Imagining yourself just lying in that most peaceful place in nature for you, the perfect time of day, the perfect temperature for you. Hearing the sounds of nature around you as you imagine a cool breeze coming up through the toes, relaxing the toes, the feet, the ankles, softening, releasing through the shins, the calves, the knees. That soft breeze blowing over the thighs and the hips. Taking an extra moment here with the hips to release a little more, feeling the openness that you've created from your practice today. That soft breeze through the midsection of the body, through the heart space, the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Relax the hands even more and just let go of that false sense of control. Surrendering into this moment. If it comes, it comes. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. That soft breeze through the throat, swallowing or clearing the throat if you need to. The jaw is soft, the muscles in the face, the eyes, behind the eyes. Removing the glasses if you wear those, the forehead soft and smooth. Coming out from the crown, connecting you to that understanding of your higher power, whatever that means for you individually. Resting here for a few more breaths, reunited with your true nature, which is peace. Without moving the body, just notice the body and how it's supported by the earth, behind the head, beneath the shoulders, behind the hands, beneath the spine, behind the legs, beneath the heels. Give permission to let go a little more deeply into that support. You might sigh it out. Slowly start to move the fingers and toes, feeling gratitude for this body, this vehicle, and this lifetime, and all of its perfect imperfections. Roll the wrists and ankles. Just start to stretch and move the body however you feel guided. You might draw the knees into the chest and rock a little side to side. Rolling to the right or left side, whichever side you feel guided towards. Resting here for another moment. Remembering during these difficult times, when the winds come, we want to learn from the palm tree that bends in the wind instead of snapping like the oak. Learning to be flexible, not just with your yoga practice on your mat, but off your mat. Honoring yourself for making this time for self-care. Slowly rise up into this moment, feeling a little more hip than you did at the onset of your practice. You might use the blanket underneath you, palms facing up now to receive, relaxing the shoulders, chin parallel. You might close the eyes. Internally repeat your intention 3 more times, knowing it will continue to manifest. Feel your hands like 2 cups just overflowing with blessings, overflowing with wellness and vitality. Sweep those arms out and up, palms kiss at the top. Exhale, drawing hands to heart space, feeling the right hand equal against the left, plugging the thumbs into the heart, bowing the head to the heart. Thanking you for sharing this time with me, for sharing your practice with me. The light, the love, the peace in me honors the same love and light and peace within you. When we're there together, we are one, not me but you. We bow if we like. We say namaste, namaste,